Hello, everybody. We're doing another tier list. Can you believe it? It's really happening. Yeah, so, quick aside right here. Since I'm slowing down with the daily uploads on the channel, I said I wanted to get back to these types of, kind of one-off special kind of videos that I used to do, back in like 2019, 2018, stuff like that. I really enjoy making these, and I've wanted to do more tier videos for a while. And this has been like on the front burner of like, I gotta do the Smiths because I listened to that entire discography back in like 2018 or so, or whatever it was, 2019. So yeah, I'm gonna probably make plenty of enemies with this video. Some of you will agree with me, some of you won't. I don't care. I don't care. And there's gonna be a lot of people saying, why didn't you rate every song 5 out of 5? And the answer is probably because I didn't grow up in England. That's always usually the answer, right? You got to be British to get it. Which might be true, but I'm not. So go find a different tier list. Find a different British person making a tier list. So yeah, as I'm sure you guys know, I've reacted to pretty much the entire discography of the Smiths on the channel. You can go watch those videos if you like. Consider this kind of like a retrospective kind of update on how I feel about it, more or less, in general. How I've enjoyed the music going forward over these past 4 or 5 years. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun with this one, okay? The first one here. Okay, so right off the bat, let's make some enemies, and let's talk about this one here. So I put this at a C, and you guys can hit dislike immediately if you so desire. So the deal with the debut album from '84 is there's really only like 4 songs that I like off of it, like really truly enjoy a lot, maybe 5. I like Reel Around the Fountain, the opener. Pretty Girls Make Graves is quite nice, and the outro is like a nice insight into what Johnny Marr is going to be doing down the road with his guitar work. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is also kind of decent. It's a little plodding at times, but I enjoy the kind of guitar work that's going on in there. Still Ill, I think, is a solid track. If you count This Charming Man, which some releases have, some don't, I think I prefer the Hatful of Hollow version of that, and that of Still Ill. The one on this is pretty solid too, though. And then Suffer Little Children would be my last favorite on here. But there's tracks like You've Got Everything Now, Miserable Lie, and Hand in Glove. Just the plateau of energy that some Smith songs have, where just it ramps up and it just keeps going at that. And Morrissey just has his like drone of like, no, and I'm like, those songs just don't do it for me. Those and the more like punk rockier ones, I just don't get them. I don't understand the appeal. If you do, fantastic, but they just really don't turn my crank. But this one is decent. It has some really standout tracks, I think, and it kind of points to what they're going to be doing down the road for sure. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot more to say on it. I don't go back to many of these tracks, and if I do, I go back to the versions on Hatful of Hollow. So it's just it. So if we count, I don't know, some people count Hatful of Hollow as an album. Some people call it a compilation. I can kind of see how both work. Because it's not necessarily like these all existed. I mean, some of them are like weird sessions and others are just singles. So it's kind of a compilation in a way, but it also is able to kind of stand on its own 2 feet as an album, I suppose. Because it's sort of the first time you see all these songs collected together. That's not really a compilation like Louder Than Bombs or World Won't Listen or whatever. But anyway, so Hatful of Hollow, I put it A. This has just a ton of solid stuff on it, man. The only ones I don't really like on here are These Things Take Time, Hand in Glove yet again, and then You've Got Everything Now Except Yourself. That's mostly the ones I don't dig. I'm not super into Girl Afraid or the version of Reel Around the Fountain on this album. I think it's a little flat. Handsome Devil is decent as well. The thing about Handsome Devil and Girl Afraid is that I enjoy some of the guitar work, but that's about all as far as those tracks go. But William, it was really nothing. Nice way to start the album. What difference does it make is pleasant. This charming man, fantastic, of course. How soon is now? I'm not. It's not my favorite, and I don't understand like the cultural, historical aspect of why it was such an important song per se. But it's cool, and some of Mars' like more recent live performances of it in the past couple decades have been pretty sweet. And then the version of Still Ill on here I prefer. The guitar line is a little more pronounced, which is great. Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, obviously fantastic. This Night Has Opened My Eyes is a really cool vibe. Back to the Old House is beautiful. And then Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want is among my favorite Smith songs. So there's just a ton of really solid work here. It's not one of my favorite albums of theirs per se. There's a couple more that I like better, but this is probably my third favorite. There's just a ton of quality work on here that you can't deny. Next one, Meme is Murmur. I put this at B. It's almost an A. Almost. Save for a couple tracks that I think kind of hold it back a bit. Mostly being Rush Home Ruffians, What She Said, and Nowhere Fast. What She Said, I think, is the weakest one here, but Headmaster Ritual is a really cool way to start out the album. I Want the One I Can't Have is a really lush track, very nice lyrics. That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore is fantastic, of course. Well, I Wonder is my favorite song on here and among my favorite Smith songs. It's beautiful. Barbarism Begins at Home. It's fun. I don't really go back to it a lot just because it's a little long and I'm not that into the riff, but it's a pretty sick riff, as well as the crazy bass work as well. And then Meat is Murder is actually a pretty solid track for what it is. Very experimental in a way, a little artsy, but it's cool. It's cool. You can't deny it. The thing I enjoy about this album is it's kind of pushing forward to what they're going to be like toying with on future stuff. A little bit with Queen is Dead, and certainly some stuff on Strangeways, of like doing some more dreamier stuff, little more interesting production as well. Still a little rough around the edges, but like even the weaker tracks like Rush Home Ruffians has a fun bass, of course. Nowhere Fast, I think, has a lot of fun guitar in it. So it's not necessarily a weak album. I don't know. Does this album get kind of poo-pooed on or whatnot? I don't know. I don't really have that much of a problem with it. It just doesn't have a whole lot of album staying power with me. But I will go back to That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore and Well I Wonder quite often because I think that they're pretty stellar tracks. Obvious one here, Boom, all the way up at S. This is a practically perfect album. Just a couple little, I wouldn't say flaws, but little, road bumps here or there. Everyone who's seen my reaction and has heard me talk about it since knows that this is a prime case of me being a little overwhelmed or just kind of uncertain of how I feel on first listen, and then I come to love the album. This is among my favorite albums, and it's one of the best pop albums ever made. It has light moments, dark moments, texture, intrigue, mystery. It's just such a compelling album. The Queen is Dead title track, awesome way to kick off the album. This like long, almost, I don't even know what you would call it. It just has like it's not progressive. It's something kind of like, it's just a long rock song. I don't know quite how to describe it. It's very compelling with just like a nice guitar part over the really cool bass. The production is great. Frankly, Mr. Shankly is like super corny, but it's impeccable. I Know It's Over might be one of the best, if not the best Smith song ever made. It's amazing. Never Had No One Ever. Not super into it, but it's still a fantastic track. Cemetery Gates, perfect. Can't praise that one enough. Big Mouth Strikes Again, perfect. Boy with a Thorn in the Side, perfect. Vicar in a Tutu, fine. It's fine. It's a little bit of a weird moment in the album. Probably the weakest, but not by much. There's Light Never Goes Out, one of the best pop songs ever made. And then Some Girls Are Bigger Than Others is, it didn't strike me at first, but I've come to really love that song, and that one is also perfect. So yeah, if you haven't listened to this album, I don't know why you're watching this video, but man, perfect. Fantastic. Gotta listen to it. Okay, next one. Strangeways. I'm going to put this one at A. Some people might have an issue with that, especially given that I'm putting it so far above the debut. I actually like it more than Hatful of Hollow. I would, I mean, I haven't rated this one yet, but I would say this is pretty much kind of how I feel about the rating so far. The thing I like about Strangeways, I don't know, some people might see it as a little too, like, unfocused, which I can completely understand. But I think after coming off The Queen is Dead, which felt a little darker in a way, this was a breath of fresh air, and there's just some really nice moments on here. A Rush and a Push and The Land Is Ours is a weird way to start the album, but just like the weird kind of like MIDI piano, and then like the tinkly like xylophone or whatever it might be. It's just kind of a fun song. Started Something I Couldn't Finish is okay. Death of a Disco Dancer, I think is decent. I'm not super in love with it, but because it's just sort of has a very linear, dynamic nature to it, and I'm not super into songs like that, but it's fine. Girlfriend in a Coma, I think is a really nice pop song. Stop Me If You Think You've Heard This One Before, I think is really nice as well. Last Night I Dreamt That Somebody Loved Me is pretty good. Unhappy Birthday, take it or leave it, sounds nice. Paint a Vulgar Picture, it's simple but really effective. I think the lyrics are good, and I think that the vocal melody is really nice over the top of the simple chords. It's kind of nice to just have a very simple song from them. Death at One's Elbow, worst song on the album, but I don't know, it's kind of funny. I don't know, like you can't knock it too much. And then I Won't Share You, what a fantastic way to end their discography. It's a beautiful track with the auto harp, right? So yeah, I mean, I love like half of the songs on this album, and the others I think are okay. Take them or leave them. I don't know. I have a soft spot for this one, even though I don't really come back to it a ton. It's just, it seems very, I wouldn't say innocent, but like happy-go-lucky, easygoing, something like that. I don't know. And then for Louder Than Bombs, I have it at C, mostly because I don't know. It has some notable tracks on it for sure. I would say the ones that stand out to me that haven't showed up elsewhere are actually mostly on the third disc. I think, is that right? Looks like it. Yeah, the third disc, like Ask. I like Oscillate Wildly. Rubber Ring is cool. And then Asleep, fantastic track, Asleep. That's on the fourth disc. But I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff on this compilation that doesn't really stand out to me. Some of their weakest tracks, if I'm to be completely honest. And I'm not going to go into all of them, but I remember when I reacted to this one and also parts of World Won't Listen, I was just sort of unimpressed because it was, or I shouldn't say unimpressed, but just I didn't find him compelling. Because like I said when I was talking about the debut, there's just two types of Smith's tracks that don't do anything for me, and a lot of them are on here. So because of that, like the only notable parts for me are on the last two discs, and it's maybe like 3 to 4 songs. Whereas everything else has been on like Hatful of Hollow, and I think I'd just rather listen to Hatful of Hollow than go to this compilation, honestly. But it's like, as far as a compilation goes, like, sure, it's got a lot of stuff on it. It does have a lot of good stuff on it. Technically, it's just a lot of that stuff is on Hatful of Hollow, so why bother, you know? So that's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you agree or disagree. You can insult my intelligence and my person if you so desire, if that will make you feel better about yourself and how important this music is to you. I don't suggest doing that, though, because it's not very healthy mentally. You should just let bygones be bygones, honestly. But if you do agree with me, great, thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to do more of these in the future. I have a few artists that I'm willing to do it for, because I, have listened to basically their whole discography, and there's not a lot of bands that I've done that with. I don't know. I would do a Beatles one, but that'd take a long time. I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching. Like I said, hope to be doing more of these, because they're things that I can kind of focus on. They're sort of one-off videos. And yeah, so that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, Godspeed.